Hey, ladies. Hey, welcome back to Rooted in Your Confidence. I am your host, Samantha Kaye Harris, and this is your first time here. This podcast is where we have honest conversations about what it's like really for women to stand up, speak up, and thrive in spaces where we're the only one in the room or one of few. And today's conversation is one I'm really looking forward to because it speaks directly to women who are working with their hands, building things, learning skills, and stepping into industries where we haven't always been welcome. Today I'm joined by Kito Shani Morris. Kito is a carpenter, creative educator, and the owner of Weird Learning, which stands for Where Everyone is Really Dope. Love that. She focuses on hands on learning, trades education, and helping people build real life skills through creative and practical experience. She grew up surrounded by brothers and often found herself as the only girl in male dominated spaces. By the age of 13, she was already assisting repair a VW bug using repair manual. Later, she earned her CDL and worked en route driving positions, again finding herself working mostly around men. Eventually, she followed her curiosity into the carpentry school, where she became the only woman and the oldest student in her class by 17 years. Today, through Weird Learning, she teaches carpentry, apparel production, and trade skills while creating learning environments to help people build confidence through doing. And I love this part of her message. She believes confidence in male dominated fields is not about becoming less feminine, it's about becoming fully yourself. Keo, welcome to Rooted in Your Confidence. I am so glad that you're here, and I've said a lot. So please tell me what I didn't talk about and tell my audience.
Well, thank you for having me. Again, my name is Kito Shani Morris, and I'm with Weird Learning. And Weird stands for Where Everybody is Really Dope, because I believe that everybody is dope in their own way. I also believe that pretty much anybody can teach and pretty much everybody can learn. And so I use community members as instructors. And these are paid positions, and people are just paid to pass on the knowledge that they have. And I'm just trying to keep knowledge alive and keep community thriving.
Ooh, I love that, Keo. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited. When we met
You.
a couple of weeks ago, we were doing some for nonprofit and we met and we connected. So I just had to have you on the show so that you could tell the world about what you're doing because I think it's so amazing. You showed me pictures of your grandson, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, you were showing me. And I just said, oh my God, this has to be talked about what you're doing and how you're helping women and the youth step into their own confidence, being able to build hands on. So let's start at the beginning. You mentioned growing up with brothers. I was the only girl. I grew up with brothers
Hmm.
also. So I know what it is to be the only girl. What did that teach you early on about confidence and standing your ground and showing up for you?
Early on, I learned that people were not right just because they were male, because I was often right and my brother was wrong. And so he'd probably disagree. But yeah, it just, I was comfortable around males in a way that a lot of my female friends were not comfortable. Like in the ninth grade, I remember some of my friends wouldn't eat in front of guys. And I thought that was weird. Like, what do you mean you're not going to eat in front of them? Like, give me yours then.
I
So
love that.
yeah, it just gave me a comfort, and that comfort just gave me a confidence because I don't know, I didn't feel any type way. I didn't feel, I guess, any different than them, you know.
Yeah,
So
I get that. Like you, for me, it's no big deal being
yeah.
around men. I grew up, like I said, only girl, and all my girl cousins was much older than me. So I only hung out with my guy cousins.
Hmm.
So like you, my comfort level with men is so different. It's just like, all right, what you want to do? Where you want to go?
Yeah.
This is how I show up. So I never worried about impressing them. Let me
Hmm.
say that.
Hmm.
I don't know. And
Hmm.
I think that allowed me to step in these environments that I work in a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm grateful for them every day being able to step in them. So I understand completely when you say, "Hey, you stepped into it." It's just like, oh, "Okay, this is where I
Right.
am. This is how I showed up." Oh wow. When I was reading your bio, it said that you assisted in repairing a car engine. Did you realize back then that you were stepping into this world where women weren't always respected?
No, I just knew I liked working with my hands and I liked um, puzzles, and working on a car is really just doing a puzzle because you're just taking it apart and you put it back together. So at the time, I think it was a Haynes manual. Um, and you could just go to any of the car parts store, grab your manual, and go work on your car. So my stepdad had this little beat up bug, and he worked on it, and I helped. My brothers weren't interested, and so I loved it. And even later in life, I ended up going to school for auto mechanics for a period of time. And there's a spot in Atlanta called My Favorite Mechanic's a Woman. And so when I was just exploring the idea of being a mechanic, I'm the type, I'll go in and volunteer somewhere just to see if I like it. And
Wow.
so I ended up volunteering at My Favorite Mechanic's a Woman for a while. And that was cool because I got to change like brakes and rotors and do tire changes and stuff like that. So, and it was just cool. I mean, the title of the spot is cool. The lady who owned it's cool. And I hate that I don't remember her name right now, but it was just a really nice experience. And they were really open and just open to teach me things.
Wow, I love that. The fact, I don't know how long ago, we ain't gonna date ourselves unless you want to. Just the fact that it was happening, that you took the initiative and you stood in something that, like you said, it was just a puzzle. It wasn't man or woman. It was just something that you loved, that you allowed yourself to lean into, and you fully embraced it by going in there. You was like, hey, can I learn something? Can I see? I believe not putting labels on it as if it's a man job or a woman job. That takes the pressure off sometimes. What are your
I
thoughts about
do.
that?
I do. Because if it's a person is just doing it, then it doesn't, it's just a skill. Like I grew up in a family with male cooks. And so sometimes the gender jobs don't really line up, you know what I mean? And with, we had so many male cooks in the family, or the men were so known that one time we had a family function at my mother's house and there was a bunch of women in the kitchen. And so my cousin and my uncle walked past and they kind of doubled back and was like, "What y'all doing in here?" And we was like, "Oh, we're talking." They were like, "Oh, okay." And it's not that we can't cook, but it was like my grandfather was the cook and my uncle was the cook. And so even growing up, my step pop was the cook. It wasn't like that's woman's work. It was like whoever did it the best, whoever wanted to do it, that's who did it.
Ooh,
And
that's
so
refreshing.
like my kids kind of saw that because I normally want to be the one working on the car or something like that. So, yeah, I think it is easier if you don't look at it as women or men's job or something like that. If you're just trying to do something, and I'm small, so I'm like 5'2", 112. So if I was worried about male or female or size or something like that, I probably wouldn't have done most of the stuff that I've done.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, and you do it and you show up fully in it, and you're teaching not just women, you're teaching children
Hmm.
from a very early age to do it. So you're exposing them to something different than the world actually says what you're supposed to do, how
Hmm.
you're supposed to do it. So I think that's a shift in this world that we live in this society. So kudos to you for having the foresight to say, nah, it's not like this.
Hmm.
Everybody come learn. So
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
I love that you're giving them that confidence to just say, nah, doesn't matter. I know how to do it. I think that's going to take them into their lives where they
Hmm.
can, like you stepped into it. You didn't ask for permission. You asked, can I do it? Like,
Hmm.
hey, can I do it now? You want to teach me some extra stuff? That's going to be the shift
Yeah.
when more people are like you, allowing themselves to believe that if I want to do it, I can try it no matter what.
And I think that's what my superpower is. I'm able
Mm.
to help people see that either that they have that power or that they should try, just try. I believe in failing. because you learn a lot when you do. You might learn that you don't want to do something. You might learn a different way to do it or, whatever. But, I believe that if you don't try, you won't know if you're going to succeed or fail anyway. So just try it. And then
That
too, if you don't like it, you can say, I tried it. That's how I know I don't like it.
I love that idea of trying it no matter what, because a lot of humans pull away from trying something because they're afraid of that failure. But like you, I find that there is no failure. It's all learning.
Right. Period.
So, yeah.
Because something you think you might fail at later, well, now might be something that you pull back out later in life and might make that thrive. You know what I mean? It just might not have been that time, but you might have needed to be exposed to that in order to do what you do later. So it's like planting a seed.
That seed that um pushes through all the muck, all the dirt, all the soil, and it just blooms.
Yep.
And giving yourself, like anything, you give yourself time to develop and get those roots. So it seems to me like you developed and you grew those roots, and now you are flourishing and you're teaching other people to show up the same way for themselves. This is Women in Construction Week, which I'm just excited about. I'm overjoyed about. And I see so many women like yourself, like me, just showing up and doing something different because they trusted themselves enough to put themselves out in the world. So
Mm-hmm.
this is the change. I notice that sometimes some people hide because they don't want people to see them doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I know you was said that, you came from a family that was different and you just felt like you wanted to try, you was going to do it. Where you think that you got that spirit from?
Watching people who did it and growing up knowing my family history and knowing that, like, oh, so I'm from Wilmington, Delaware. And so we have like a rich jazz history here. My grandfather and his siblings were musicians, and my great grandmother was one of Clifford Brown Jr.'s piano teachers, and he was one of my grandfather's friends. My grandfather, I grew up knowing that by 15, my grandfather graduated high school, moved to New York, and was playing the violin. They were like, hey, black man's going to make money on the violin, so you need to pick up the horns and the keys. And he picked up both. He played the trumpet and the piano.
Come on.
So, right. And so I knew I came from folks that were just like beasts in their fields and did what they wanted and were good at it. And coming up in a time where you hear a lot of, oh, black people don't do this, black people don't do that, black people don't do this. I wasn't really taught that black people didn't do it. It was like, if you want to do it, do it. And I was a weirdo, so that allowed me to do a little bit more too. But just not hearing that I couldn't do it made me believe that I could do it. And being a tomboy, I think, like I was able, like everybody's, like I was cross gendered bender dressing or whatever. I was wearing my dad's sweaters, the ties, my brother's sweaters. And I always thought it was so cool that being a girl, I could wear their clothes and my clothes, but they could not wear mine.
Come on, somebody. You better talk about it. Don't we have some advantages out here?
you know. And I grew up in the 80s in California, so it was a lot of androgynous, big hair, shoulder pads, blazers, and stuff like that. Yeah, so I feel like I was rambling, but.
No, not rambling. It just allows you to just let everyone know how you didn't conform to fit in anything. You
Mm-hmm.
just allowed it. I believe that a lot of times women, we kind of become what the rest of the world tells us to be
Mm-hmm.
instead of who we want to be. You
Mm-hmm.
being able to decide and listen, I wanted to wear this, I want to dress that way. I didn't come up that way doing it. So it's just an amazing honor to be sitting here talking to someone that's telling the world it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't become this human until later on in life when I got to look past like
Okay.
all the gender, this, that, and the other, and just did what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
That fills my soul now to see and to have this conversation with you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
come on, somebody, Kyo, you're
Yeah.
doing it, and you teaching the world to do that. Because you talked about, I said it in your intro. You said confidence in male dominated fields isn't defined by femininity. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that's what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Is that? I
Just by
think that's
myself. being comfortable.
Yeah. It's about you being comfortable. Can you talk about what that means to you, though? Actually means to you embodying it.
See, I have a mohawk. It's normally like skint. So I'm not I've stood out a lot over the years. And sometimes people do that, think that I do it because I want attention, and I don't. It's because this is how I feel comfortable. So leaning into my own confidence allows me to fully be myself. And that allows me to fully accept other people as they are. Because I don't want you bothering me about me. So I'm gonna let you be you. Seriously, I mean that's my honest, like, you're not hurting nobody. Good.
I love that. I ain't bother
Really.
nobody. It ain't my business. Let me be happy.
Listen, and I told my kids I have nothing to do with your spirituality, your diet, your sexuality, and now I'm gonna have to throw in politics. Y'all were raised right. Y'all got a good village. Don't be out here hurting people. Be respectful. Be consensual. You know, and I think that just being yourself, it allows you to be able to be that with people and to be comfortable with other people being who they are. Because I think a lot of people, we're fine with us being who we are, and we think that everybody around us is supposed to kind of accommodate that. Whereas it's like a give and take type situation. And yeah, so
You
just that
going on and you
confidence
preaching
helps you.
today, so I ain't saying nothing. I'm just sitting here leaning in. You see, I had to lean in because I want to hear it all. Because what you're saying is so true that, and I think the world needs to hear what you're saying. So you got me all caught up. I'm at, you see me, I leaned all the way
Mm-mm.
in.
Yeah, but I mean that's just how I feel. And I mean, like I said, like with being kind of weird, like you have to be confident to be different, because otherwise you're really just putting on a disguise or a costume or something like that. Like yeah, you if you're not being authentic, then you're like you're wearing a mask. And so just be authentic, be comfortable being you. If you're awkward, be awkward. A lot of us
Yeah.
are. I'm definitely awkward. I as extroverted as I seem, I'm actually an introverted extrovert. That's what I call myself, because small talk drives me crazy. So networking events and all that type stuff. If I could find a corner and maybe one person to talk to, I don't even need a person to talk to. I mean, if I could just kind of hide and everything, like I'd be fine.
Let me tell you something. I'm listening because being unique and being audacious, because that's what you are, because you show up fully as you. And whether you think you're outgoing, if you think that you're introverted or extroverted, your presence is audacious, is bold. And your thinking is so far ahead of the rest of the world while you're allowing everyone to be who they are and you're teaching that labels don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So that in itself is enough for anyone to lean in, to hear you, to see you, because you bring a different presence to the world. No, you
Okay.
might not be out there yakety yak 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 like me. I like the yakety yak yak. Um, but your presence says enough in the calmness of it. So I believe being who you are and being able to teach and educate, those are wins for the rest of the world to not just see you, but to understand and be present with you being present in who you are. That's the shift. So I don't
Thank
think
you.
it's rambling. I believe it's you. And that's what it takes to have weird learning, being able to step into it, because you're not teaching the rest of the world to be like you. You're teaching them to be themselves
Mm-hmm.
in everything that you do. And you have no gender attached to it. You
Mm-hmm.
have humanness attached to it. And we as humans, we get so caught up in what the patriarchal system has defined that we forget, or we never allow ourselves to become weird. We never
Mm-hmm.
allow ourselves to be
Mm-hmm.
authentic,
Mm-hmm.
different. So I love exactly what you said about you, what you're doing. This is the change that needs to happen. So I done got into your weird learning and I done got caught up too because it's so amazing what you're doing. Tell me about your weird learning. What inspired you to create it? What kind of impact are you hoping to make through this work that you're doing?
Okay. Weird learning started as an accident. Okay. I was in carpentry school. I went to the Delaware Skills Center instead of YouTube University because I am a DIYer. But I like to have correction. If I'm learning something, I like immediate correction so I don't develop a bad habit. I'm a self taught seamstress. And so over the years, I learned how to do things, but some of them were trial and error. So it might take me a little longer because I don't know the technical correct way to do it, but I can do it. I didn't want to go through that doing carpentry, even though, YouTube, whatever. But I like somebody to be like, hey, don't do that. Do it like this. And so I went to the Delaware Skills Center carpentry program, which is really cool. And we built a tiny home while I was there
Nice.
and did a couple of other things. And so while I'm in class, I have 6 grandchildren. So
Nice.
while I'm in class, I was trying to figure out ways to teach them how to learn carpentry without them knowing that they were learning, because I firmly believe that it is easier to teach people if they don't know they're learning.
Okay.
And so I just started developing activities for my grandchildren. And so then I was on Facebook one day, and it's a shame I have to look this up. So there was a young lady looking for carpentry instruction for homeschool students. Excuse me. She was looking for carpentry instruction for homeschool students. And so I was like, well, I reached out and let her know that I recently graduated. I had the skills. I could teach them some things. And I already had some activities that I had together that I could definitely put into a curriculum. So that's what I ended up doing. I put that into a curriculum. Learning started. And so what I did was, to teach carpentry, I ended up using pool noodles to teach 16 on center platform framing, which is the framing like in your houses or something. And so I did the pool noodles for a couple of reasons. One, they're light. I could reuse them. And they were just like easy to transport instead of using a bunch of 2x4s. And so I put together a hands-on carpentry class with alternative materials. And this one was pool noodles. I have a cardboard one also. And so what I've been doing with that is actually doing demos at different locations of the builds. And I'll build a 6x6 structure with windows, doors, and I'll provide little safety vests and levels and tape measures or measuring tapes and everything for the kids to play inside. So they'll get in there and just work and learn how to use different tools and everything. And then also with I wish I had a picture to show you, but with the pool noodles, I use color coded and everything is labeled. And so I have a 3-year-old grandson who knows his colors. And so all of the studs are blue. So if I'm like, hey, let's build our little clubhouse. Why don't you go give me all of the blue studs, the blue ones? After a while, I'll be able to tell him to just go get me the studs because he'll be able to associate the blue ones and the studs. And then while we're playing, he'll also learn that there's the cripple studs, which are the shorter ones. We have the jack, the king. And so he'll learn all of those while we're playing. And so we have plates, the top plate, the bottom plate. We got double top plate. I have enough for a gable roof. So
I'm bringing my 3-year-old grandson to see you.
and so this is cool because this is a class that adults or children can take. The knowledge that they learn can easily translate to actual wood projects. So as long as they were comfortable with the tools and stuff like that, once they took that 16 on center class with the pool noodles, they would feel comfortable doing like other things. And then also with weird learning, I use community members as instructors. The owner and one of his employees, Sean Dinkins and Jay Johnson, they are my auto repair instructors. And so because of them, we have locations. We have 2 locations, one in Middletown, Delaware, and one in Wilmington. And they have a monthly auto repair workshop. And due to the inclement weather that came through, we had to put it off for the winter. But I just I just got us a secured a location that we'll be able to use in a couple of months as an indoor or outdoor location. So I'm really
Very
excited
nice.
about that. Right. That's going to be our trade center. And so we'll be doing
Congratulations.
automotive, we'll be doing carpentry and home repair out of this location.
Come
Yes.
on, somebody. Let's go. Let's clock in with that. You know, I'm
Yeah.
about that life.
Yeah.
Very
I'm
nice.
excited. And it somebody just happened to have a garage they don't need to use. It's like a double garage. It's not really big, but it's big enough for us to have a nice home base that's secure and that's stable and that'll allow us to have classes even in the rain. So yeah, I'm very, very, very excited about that. So those are some of the things that we're doing with Weird Learning. And I also teach apparel production. So I teach sewing classes and different types of sewing classes from basic to clothing reconstruction. I have a
You
barber that is coming on soon and it's awesome. A female barber who owns her own shop in Wilmington.
come on, somebody. We promoting each other as women. Come on.
Exactly, exactly. So I'm really excited about that. She's actually my barber. I wish this was fresh because she had Weird cutting hair for me.
That's nice. That is nice.
Yeah, so excuse me, just trying to find different things for kids and the community in general to learn. Like I'm open to anybody teaching what they want to pass on. And my barber was actually the one who mentioned it while she was cutting my hair. Happened to mention she was an instructor, so I'm like, oh really?
Well, that is amazing. I
Yeah,
love the
love it.
fact of how you bring in community together and everyone is learning from each other and
Hmm.
growing. Do you think these practical skills are, why do you think these practical skills are so powerful with building confidence? What do you think that is doing with the community?
I think that it gives us autonomy because it gives us independence. And so if you don't have to do everything that you know. Like I've always wanted to learn how to work on cars just so somebody's not getting me if I go to the mechanic. Not because I want to fix everything, but I want to be knowledgeable when somebody is talking to me because I feel that knowledge is power. And so when people learn these skills, their life skills, you're learning STEM skills, STEAM skills, like you're just learning all kinds of things. And I think that that'll just help propel you in life and exposure is everything. I have a younger brother who is a beast in football and baseball and stuff, and he never would have known he was great at tennis if he hadn't gone to a Morehouse sports camp. And they made all the kids play every sport. But he was a
Wow.
big guy, you know what I mean? So he looked like a football player. But they put him on a tennis court and nobody could return a serve. You know, like, so until you're exposed to something, you really don't know. And I believe that it's giving us power and it's helping knowledge survive. Our education system hasn't always been the best and is not getting smarter. And so we might need to step in. And I
I
would
love
love to
that.
be in a position where we're not scrambling and everything, but we already have people in place that are like, well, hey, I know how to do this. I know how to do that. And we're like there.
How does it make you feel seeing when you see these young girls coming through and you teaching them something about seeing themselves differently? How does that, knowing you're helping, how does that change you?
Okay. I'll say I can see that impact more while I was working with pregnant teens. I worked at a school called and worked and volunteered at a school called Delaware Adolescent Program Incorporated. And it was for pregnant teens here in Delaware from grade 6 to 12. And so that was a place that I really saw my influence. Honestly, in the carpentry realm, I haven't been out there exposed enough for like the older girls to see me. Most of the events I go to, they're like younger girls and they really love to see me. Their parents let me know if they see me in the street like such and such would not take her safety vest off. They're around here measuring everything. They think everything's not level now. You know, that's kind of cool. Like, the little girls are really they're impacted because I make it look normal. And
Mm.
yeah.
You're
So,
normalizing it. You're normalizing seeing you. I love that because that's
yeah.
what I was wondering. Like, you know,
Yeah.
what do you say to these young girls who've never seen anyone doing what you do?
Yeah.
you
But
know?
I will go back to Delaware Adolescent Program Incorporated also. Although that was a female field and environment because it was like the pregnant teen. So pretty much everybody worked there were women. But what I did for those girls also was try to show them, just expose them to something different. I did creative writing with them. We had a program called The Power of Words, letting them understand that there were power in their words. So, watch how you're talking, watch how people talk to you. But one thing that I did was bring in different poets. And what I wanted them to understand was if you do poetry, don't sound like Miss Keogh. Like, I'm bringing all of these really dope poets. Like, all of these people are like really talented. Some people have been on Deaf Poetry and stuff. But what I wanted them to see is if you do write, to sound like you. Never sound like me. It's not a compliment. You know what I mean? It's not a compliment. That's not a form of flattery. But just to always feel powerful in your voice. And if you see mine, you think it's good, cool. You see his, you think it's good, cool. You see hers, it's cool. All of ours is cool, but they're all very different. So just be yourself, be different. Again, the authenticity. So,
Wow. No, but that's the thing that's missing. Allowing people to be authentically themselves. So you teaching that, whether it's automotive, if it's construction, it's and being a seamstress, you're allowing people to be and telling them it's okay to be unique, to be
mm-hmm,
different, to be
mm-hmm,
weird.
mm-hmm,
Those are the things when little girls see you, or adult women see you, or men, whomever, they see that it's possible by just being themselves. So
mm-hmm.
I just love to hear that you're teaching people not just a trade, but teaching them about themselves and allowing them to be them. For every woman that you have encountered, that let me ask you, thinking and those that are thinking about going into the trades and they're feeling unsure, what would you tell them?
Do it. If you don't like it, don't do it anymore.
Mm, come on now.
Really.
It's the truth,
Just
right? Because
because
I
I
had
learned
nothing.
how to build something doesn't mean I have to build something.
Right. That
But
right there.
if I have somebody coming in to do some work, I can sit here and look like I know how to do it or I don't, either however I want to rock it. But I can talk to them and know whether they're talking to me with sense or not.
You get to
You
show up
know,
as you are. Yes.
yeah. And honestly, like, try it. And if you don't like it, don't do it. Especially if you're grown. If you're not a kid and you like in you got into some project and whatever, trying to build character, whatever, and even that sometimes, depending on how they don't like it, don't even force them to finish. If
And
it's not like imperative to their whatever, like, it'll be okay. But try it. If you like it, try it again. All right. So one thing I believe is, being as every industry, everything has multiple fields within that. You might have only you might have been supposed to be introduced to that field to do something else within it. Like, everybody wanted to be a rapper back in the day.
yes.
So I used to tell my girls at Dappy, okay, you want to get into music, can you sew? They need costumes, they need makeup, they need hair, they need videographers, they need photographers. So it's not just about rapping. If you want to be in the music industry, they got PR people, they have admin. You know what I mean? There's like so many things. It doesn't have to be that you're rapping. You could be a ghostwriter. The songwriters make more than the performers.
Want somebody better talk
You
about
know
it.
what I mean? So it's like, just because you've been exposed or you think you want to do something, like, get in there. Your skill set might not be where your passion is. And be honest with yourself.
I think that's what's missing in the world. We don't follow our passion.
Mm-hmm.
We have a script that we follow that was laid out by people we don't even know, that we have attached ourselves to, that we aren't allowing ourselves the permission. And that's what I wanted to say a few minutes ago. Thank you so much for giving women permission, because that's what you did a few minutes ago. You gave them permission to show up as themselves, to say, I don't like it, I don't want it, I'm going to try something else. And not just women, you said that to the entire audience. So that in itself is a blessing for each person that got to hear it, to understanding that hey, it's okay to be different. So I love that you let them know that it's okay. Thank you for saying that. Yes, yes, yes. We've been on here talking for a minute. So I see that you and I could go. We could talk, 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 talk.
Right.
But we're gonna get ready to wrap it up a bit.
Okay.
But I have a signature question that I ask every guest. And you have been an amazing guest. So I'm going to go ahead and ask this question real quick. What does it mean to you to be rooted in your confidence?
I guess looking like I look. Like, again, just being me, showing my grandkids that they're cool and to just be them. And I think to be rooted in my confidence honestly means for me to use my superpower to help others be rooted in theirs. Because I think that seems to be like what my seems to be one of my purposes is to make sure people understand their power, the fact that they have a voice, and if they don't have a voice, to be their voice for a while or something like that until they feel capable. So I think that would be it.
I
Yeah, to
love
be
that.
confident in mine, to help others to be confident in theirs.
Okay,
Yeah.
confident in yours and let other people be confident in theirs. I love it. Love it. That's some confidence right there. You do you, boo, and I'm going to do me, and we all together.
Oh
Well,
man.
yes. Well, Keo, thank you so much for sharing your story, your work, and the impact that you're making through Weird Learning. I love the conversation like this because it reminds me women that are confident doesn't wait for permission. Sometimes it comes from picking up the tools, trying something new, and realizing you're capable of more than you've ever imagined.
Mm-hmm.
Tell the people where they can reach you, what's coming up. You gave a little bit of that earlier, and I'm going to close this out after that.
Okay. So you can go to weirdlearning.com and see what we have coming up. We're on kind of a hiatus. I had to kind of scale back to build my infrastructure up in order to grow a little bit more. And so I'm in the process of gaining host sites, which I've just gained two. There's a sewing site and the automotive. Excuse me. But if you go to weirdlearning.com, you can join the mailing list and stay up to date with everything that's coming up.
Thank you, Keo, for sharing.
Thank
And to
you.
everyone listening today, if this conversation spoke to you, I want to invite you to take the next step in your own confidence journey. My new book, Your Truth Changes Everything, is all about women reclaiming their voice, trusting themselves again, and stop shrinking in spaces where they belong. Because when you start standing in your truth, everything changes. You can grab a copy, learn more at SKH Solutions. And if today's episode inspired you, make sure you follow the podcast, share this episode with another woman, and leave a review so more women can find this conversation. Until next time, stay rooted in your confidence.